Hi, problem solvers. Welcome back to science. Today, we are going to continue our discussion about whether or not a volcano could pop up in our neighborhood. Before moving on, let's do a quick review of what we learned last week. So, we um first off, we know that lava is melted rock. It's very hot. We learned about this farmer in Mexico. Do you remember? Who all of a sudden felt the earth shake and saw a crack appear in the ground. And then, within the span of a few days, he had a 160-foot volcano in the middle of his farm. A volcano just popped up in the middle of his farm in Mexico, and he was in no way expecting this. Remember, the volcano hardened, or the lava that came out of the volcano hardened into rock and buried the town surrounding the farm. You can see here that the church survived because it was made of stone, and its tower is still poking out from the rock, and the rest of the building has been completely buried in rock. How cool is that? We remember what the rock is called. It's called basalt. All right, and then we had a really productive conversation as a class about whether or not a volcano could pop up where we live. And I really want to take some time today to talk about some more clues that could help answer that question. So let's go. All right, so let me tell you more about where this farmer lived. So earlier in history, people had recorded other volcanoes that had erupted in Mexico, and they were all scattered near one another. The Mexican volcanoes are all pretty close to each other. It's almost like they form a line. Do you see that? I'm going to call this a pattern, since it's like you can connect the dots, right? So as of right now, you don't know why volcanoes are found here, but with our pattern, it's like we could predict where another volcano might form. We talked a little bit about this last week, do you remember? And I remember some of you predicted that a volcano could form in this empty space in this line. So you're already using the pattern to predict where a volcano might pop up. It's really not outrageous or crazy at all to expect a volcano to pop up in this empty space. Guess what, guys? Your prediction was right. That is exactly where that farmer's town is. It's exactly where Paracutin is, and where the volcano popped up in the farm. So you did it. You used a pattern to make a prediction, a educated scientific guess, and you were right. Wonderful job. A volcano formed here in the cornfield, which is kind of shocking, right? I don't think anyone was expecting it. But when you look at the bigger picture, like this map, it makes sense. It's part of a pattern. How cool is that? So, could a volcano erupt where we live? I'm going to pause and let you think about that. Where on the map are we? See if you can't point it out before I show you. Where on the map is New York City? Well, that's Mexico, but we are right about here. So, surely all of the world's volcanoes aren't just over here in Mexico, right? I remember last week we did some research to see if there were volcanoes in Africa, and we discovered that yes, there are. But where else are there volcanoes? Suppose we had a list of all the volcanoes in the entire world, then we could mark them on the map, and maybe we'd even find a bigger pattern. What do you think? That's exactly what we're going to do today, and I'm really, really excited. So in today's lab, our class is going to mark or plot volcanoes on a map. Then we'll take that map and look for any pattern in where the volcanoes are located. And just like we did with this map, we should be able to predict where another volcano might pop up. So I'm going to go through the steps of what we're going to do here in the video so that you guys have an idea of what to expect when you come back to Zoom, and we'll be able to just hop right in to the activity. So we've divided the map into 4 sections. There's Asia, Australia, and nearby islands, North America, and South America. For each section of the map, we'll give you a list of about 12 volcanoes that have erupted in the last few hundred years. Now you're going to work with a partner or partners, because there's an uneven number of you guys now, to put all of those volcanoes on the map. Then you and your partners are going to answer some questions about where the volcanoes tend to be, and we'll see what predictions we can make. So then finally, you and your classmates are going to put all of your maps together and see if you can find a larger world pattern to where volcanoes are located. So let's go through the activity step by step. Again, guys, I'm doing this now in the video so that I do not have to repeat it on Zoom. Please come to Zoom with an understanding of what we're doing. If you have questions, that's totally okay. But if you ask me, what are we doing? I'm going to just send you back to the video. So just listen here, please, okay? This is why I'm doing this. Okay, step 1. We're going to split into partners or groups. Step 2, we are going to get your supplies. I'm going to give you each a map and a list of volcanoes. And it says pencil and coloring supplies, but since we're still a remote, we're probably just going to do this as a group on the screen. Step 3, we're going to look at the volcano list and notice that each location is written as a number, and a letter on the map. And there's also numbers and letters. This is how you will figure out where things will go. That might sound a little confusing now, but before you guys begin working on this independently, we'll make sure that you know exactly what that means. So when we split into groups, one person is going to be the mapper and another person is going to be the announcer. Don't worry, we're going to switch jobs later. So the announcer will read each location, and then the mapper will find and draw it on the map. So check this out. This volcano was at 6Y. So you can see this student went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then they found Y. And so that volcano would be on the 6 line, going down to the Y line, and it would be right here where my cursor is. Again, if you still are a little confused about how to plot things, don't worry, we'll go over it. Yep, so after you plot it, the announcer will mark that volcano off the list. So you're going to work together for the rest of the volcanoes on your list. And when you're done, I'm going to give you a volcano discovery worksheet where you can answer some questions that'll help us form our predictions. Okay, I'm actually going to pause here because I think that's a good place to focus today. If we finish the volcano discovery worksheet, we can absolutely move on to the next step, but one thing at a time. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask when you come back to Zoom. But again, I expect everyone to have a pretty basic idea of what we're doing and how we're going to do it. So please come back to Zoom prepared to answer some questions that I have to make sure that you watch the video. And we're going to have so much fun with this. I'm really excited to map out all the world's volcanoes and see if one could possibly pop up in New York City. Let's go. I will see you on Zoom. Bye.